Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today we are joined by Hannah Kaufman, a junior from Temecula, California, in the sport management program. Hannah is on track to graduate in the spring of 2021 and has aspirations to work with the NFL after graduation. Hannah is a social media lead for WSU Athletics and also has experience as a soccer player and youth coach. So Hannah, we're going to start off today. I'd like to ask you about what sport management classes you're taking and kind of what you are learning in those.
Yeah, I'm currently in sport finance and managing sport organizations. I've taken, in the past, sport marketing, your basic entry level sport management classes. And these two I've learned a ton in so far. We're actually just wrapping them up right now. Our sport finance class is obviously figure out how to create proper budget plans and sponsorship packages for running events. And then managing sport organizations is basically just giving you an overview of how to obviously manage a sport organization, which I didn't think I would learn that much in a course about it. And not that I probably could, but I feel like I'm fully prepped to run an organization after this class. We worked on a lot of policy analysis and article reviews about other organizations. So I definitely feel like I have learned more in that class than a lot of my classes, just overall in general. So yeah, they've both been really interesting.
And how's the transition been from in-person to online for those?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult. Sport management as a department we do a lot of group work, which if you think it's hard to meet people when you're on campus, when you're all in different states, and I had someone in my group, she's in a totally different time zone than us. So she's almost 12 hours different. So trying to figure out how to pull together group meetings to work on our projects was more difficult, but it hasn't been too bad. Zoom is awesome because you can still be in breakout rooms during class, and there's a lot of the same class skills that you would have there than over Zoom. But I think just the first couple weeks there was some little technical issues, but everyone figured it out. We still managed to do our final presentations over Zoom as well. So yeah, I think it's worked out pretty well so far.
So I also hear you have a pretty cool study abroad experience. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I went to go study abroad with the Murrow College of Communications last summer. There was a group of about 15 of us that got to go, and because I'm minoring in sport communications, I was able to go with their program. And the reason that I was so intrigued was because the whole trip was related to sports. It was working alongside the FIFA Women's World Cup in Paris and working the Tour de France in Brussels. And so we were able to travel around those different countries in Europe and create news stories and news packages based on the events. And we were able to attend a press conference with the women's national team, which, as you said, I've had past soccer experience growing up. And so I've watched that women's team and fangirl over them since I was little. So being able to actually be in a media position around them was a crazy experience. We got to attend games and be at the start-finish lines for a couple of the different stages of the Tour de France. And not only was it cool to be around that, but I learned so much in the news essence that I didn't know I would have the opportunity to in the communications department. And we were able to meet with a bunch of people abroad. One of the professors that came with us, Laura Dabowski, she actually produced the Olympics for CBS for a while, and she was the professor for one of my courses and was helping me out with my news packages. So it was definitely a crazy experience, and one that I would do all over again in a second if I could.
So you're also interning with the NFL this summer. So tell me a little bit about what that position is going to look like and kind of what you're looking forward to in that experience.
Yeah, so I am going to be a social media integration intern for NFL Network. The office that I'm working in is in Culver City, so LA County. And I will basically I'm the one intern in their department, so I'm going to be underneath their supervisors and working with integrating social media between the team social medias and the player social medias into their broadcasts and their news, their different segments of their channels or of their shows. And then along with that, all of their hosts that are on air for the NFL Network, we will have kind of an oversight as to what they're posting on their accounts and making sure that they're still on brand and they're running as they should. So a lot of reviewing all the different players' accounts as well as the team accounts and integrating them into their shows, which I'm very excited about. I haven't had a lot of experience on the broadcast end of it and working like obviously in a network or TV side. It's always been more of a sport. So I'm really excited for that experience. Unfortunately, it is getting cut short. We're doing a modified program. They're cutting it in half because of the virus, but they're still doing everything they can to make sure that we get the experience that we interviewed for and that we received a couple months back. So some virtual, but they're still trying to make some in-person things work for us, which I'm excited about.
So going off of that, how have you seen the current situation kind of impact the NFL, and how do you foresee it continuing to impact it going forward?
Yeah, well, for starters, the draft was last weekend and they had to end up doing that not in person, which no one really knew they could pull off. And they had said it pretty much went off without a hitch. Everything went the way it could. They were worried about the coaches not being able to communicate with each other and the GMs during that process and their limited time to make the picks. And from what I've heard and read about, it's went off really well. So that definitely impacted them. And then obviously this season, no one really knows how that's going to look, whether they're going to play or not, or whether there's going to be fans in the stadium or not. So yeah, it definitely will impact them in the near future. And then I think everyone's just hoping that they'll be able to fill stadiums with fans at some point in the future. So definitely a lot of big impacts, but everyone's trying to roll with what they can right now.
So what have you learned so far from everything that's gone on that you'll take with you in the future?
Well, as everyone has experienced, there's a lot that's been taken away from people during these last few months. And so I think that just kind of like going with the flow and like not worrying about what you can't control and just taking advantage of all the opportunities you are given is definitely something that I have taken a step back and realized I need to appreciate what I have and not be so focused on what I've not been able to have because of this. So definitely that. And then on like a more logical way, this like the whole technology and taking advantage of being able to do what you can over over the phone or over Zoom calls, stuff like this. I think that's definitely going to change. People can use this to their advantage a ton. Even for my internship this summer, I was told that we'll be working side by side with the interns in their New York office, which has never been something that they can do. So I'll get the chance to meet with people and develop relationships with people over in the New York office, which they never thought would be something that they would think about doing. So now, because of this, people are kind of making adjustments, and this it actually is an advantage for me. So.
And what advice would you give to other sport management students as we're moving through this time?
Definitely just try and stay positive with this. Don't, again, focus on the positives, not the negatives of everything that's going on, and making the most of it. I mean, from a networking standpoint as a sport management student, sports aren't going away. They're coming back. So definitely keep networking. This is a perfect time to kind of spend a couple hours here and there reaching out to people, reaching out to organizations you might have the opportunity to work for. I wouldn't say they're bored right now, but their workload is probably not as heavy as it's been in the past. So while they kind of have a break, giving the chance to get connected with them is really important right now.
All right, well, that is all I have for you, Hannah. So thank you so much for joining, and best of luck with your internship this summer. And we can't wait to hear how it goes. So go
Thank you very much. Go Cougs.